Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pad Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashkritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यत इति मे निश्चिता मतिः. Today we are starting with the 5th chapter of this text, Vichaara-Saagaram. Now so far many questions have been answered, they were raised, and in the end Brahmajnana can take place. To be specific, Aparoksha Brahmajnana shall take place to that person who is a qualified student and when he listens to Mahavakya from a qualified competent guru. After this whole analysis was explained, remember there were 3 students. Actually it started with a small story where king's 3 sons, they went to Guru and asked about Brahman. Then there was Tattva Drushti. For Tattva Drushti, the explanation was given, the explanation was over. After explaining that whole thing, now the second student, Adrushti, he has doubts. Now all these doubts are correspondent with Viparita Bhavana, Abhavana, etc. How they are corresponding, how they are correlated, that we will see together in the end. But now the idea behind this chapter is in this way. Brahman was explained as an object of knowledge. Yes, Brahman becomes an object of knowledge in the sense because we are looking at it in the framework of knowing. So it has to become an object of knowledge, and how it becomes an object of knowledge, that also we have seen. It does not become an object of knowledge like any object outside, but it is me, myself. Yes. So Brahman is known. Okay. Is it different from me? No. So Brahman alone is real? Yes, Brahman alone is real. So you mean to say anything else other than Brahman is mithya, false? Yes. Now, the question is, how can it be? In detail, the question, of course, we are going to see later, but let me just give you the introduction. I understand. To know Brahman, we have to understand what its true nature is. To know any object, we have to know in reality what is the real nature, true nature of that particular object. Okay. But the thing is, I don't accept that Brahman is Advitya, or it is impossible for Brahman to be Advitya. Eh? I explained that whole thing for so many days together, and yet you say it is impossible. How so? Even if you are raising a question, you have to give a substantiated proof or the logical thinking behind that you have. Tell me, how is it so? And now the logical thinking is going to be put forth, the question is going to be raised. And again, the answer starts from a totally different note now. Understand? This is like a emotional roller coaster kind of a thing, if you want to understand it, look at it this way. When such a foolish question is raised, foolish in a sense, unnecessary question is raised, the answer starts in form of indirect thrashing, and then he comes down to a story, and in form of a story he addresses the question and gives the explanation. Let's see. Guruveda prabhutinam vyavaharika satta pratipadanam. The main topic of this chapter or main topic is the vyavaharika satta, the transactional reality of Veda, Guru, and Jnana, etc. How this topic is going to progress, proceed, and begin? Let's see. Vedena Guruna cha Advaita Jnanodaya Sambhavaha iti adrustehe prashnaha. The second student raised the question, it is impossible to gain Brahma Jnana because of Guru, Vedanta Vakya, etc. Why? Shri Sadguru Mukhad Upadishta Vedanta Vakya Pramanat Advaita Brahma Sakshatkaraha Jayate iti Purva Tarange Uktam. You have explained earlier in Purva Tarange, in earlier part, that by listening to Vedanta Vakya, Mahavakya, from a competent guru, the Shishya will know the non-dual nature of this entire creation, or he will have Advaita Brahma Jnana. Yes, what you have said is right. That's what I have explained so far. Before Guru could say anything, he said, Tat Shrutva Adrushti Namaka Dvitiya Shishyaha Evam Shankate. The second student raised the doubt. Kim Guru Vedantasya Satya Uta Satyaha? Tell me, this Guru, Vedanta, all these, are they real or are they mithya, relatively real or false? Adya Pakshe, if you say earlier, they are real, Advaita Hani, Dvaita Siddhisya. If they are real, then how can there be non-duality? Because Guru, Vedanta, Vedanta Vakya, more than one thing. So Advaita is not possible. If they are real, what they are teaching is wrong. Whatever they have explained or whatever they have concluded is wrong. And if you say, no, they are mithya, relatively real. Dvitiye मिथ्याभूत मरीचिकोदकेन पिपासा अनपगमवत् असत्यभूत गुरुवेदान्तैः सुखदुःख निवृत्तिः पुरुषार्थ सिद्धिश्च एवं पक्षद्वयेपि अद्वैत ज्ञानोदया संभव एवेति शंकराचार्य स्थापितम् अद्वैत मतम् अप्रामाणिकमेवेति मम शंकां कृपया अपनेतुम् अर्हसि इति शिष्यः पृच्छति. Now there are two paksha, there are two parts. If you say Guru, Vedanta, etc., they are real, Advaita is wrong, the nature of Advaita or the explanation, that idea is wrong. And if you say Guru, Vedanta, they are mithya, then how is it possible that a mithya vastu, a relatively real thing, can have effect on something which is real? The example which has been given is mithya bhuta marichikodakena, marichikodaka, mirage water, pipasa anapagamavat. Like it is like satiating thirst by drinking mirage water. The world that I am experiencing, the sorrows, the samsara dukkha is real for me. And Guru, Vedanta, you have said they are relatively real. So from relatively real object, it is like removing something which is real. And based on this logic, based on these two things, it is impossible to say that Advaita is real, Advaitam Satyam. So Adi Shankaracharya ji, Pujya Bhashyakara, which he reiterated, taught the Advaita Vedanta, whatever that has been taught by him is Mithya. Even though it is said that Adi Shankaracharya ji, Bhagwan Bhashyakara, is the propounder of Advaita Vedanta, but it is not true. It was earlier there. He just retaught in a way, re-explained and organized, if you want to say. So, mama shankam krupaya apanetum arhasi iti shishya pruchhati. Now, this is my doubt and you have to answer this question. Now, the answer, how author progresses, it feels like Guru has felt hurt. After having explained in such a way, if you are again really going to raise these silly doubts, then I am helpless. I have to bring out my ultimate weapon. So now he starts. Shankara matasya advaita pramanikatva varnanam. How dare you say that whatever that has been taught by Bhagwan Bhashyakara is apramanika, baseless. It has its basis, it has its validation, it has its proof. Where are they? Let me first tell you who Adi Shankaracharya ji Bhagwan Bhashyakara is. Who is he? Shankaracharya matasya pramanikatve vyasavachanam. He is now going to explain what Vyasa Maharshi has said. Shri Vyasena Vayaviya Kurmadi Puraneshu Shankar Matam Adhikrityeva Muchyate. To validate whatever that has been taught by Bhagwan Bhashyakara, or whatever that will be taught by him, has been validated by Puja Vyasa Maharshi himself. In Vayu Purana, Kurma Purana, etc., he has already explained, he has already told what it is. What are those? Some verses have been quoted. Kalau yuge tu vedartho varnate yanyatha Shankaracharya rupena Shivas sakshat tadakila. In Kali Yuga, in this Yuga which is going on right now, in Kali Yuga, Vedartha, the meaning of Veda, the Tatparya, the conclusion of Veda, will be explained anyatha in many different ways. People will lose their focus, will lose their path, and they will explain that same thing in many different ways. And when such thing occurs, when such thing happens, Shankaracharya Rupena, by taking the form of Bhagwan Bhashyakara Adi Shankaracharya ji, Shivaha Sakshat, Bhagwan Shiva himself at that time, Avatiryanyatha Bhutam Jaina Bauddhadikam Matam Nirmulayishyatyakilam Vedavakyasya Yuktibhihi. He will take birth, he will take avatar, he will be incarnated, and with logic, sayuktibhi, with staunch logic and reasoning, nirmulayashyati, he will remove from its root all the different schools of thought such as Jaina, Buddha, etc. Because at that time, they were the main opponents. They were the main, what do we say, Purapaksha for Veda Vichara. Of course, within Vedanta, within Veda, there were different schools of thought, that is different thing. But for Vedas to be protected, that was the main challenge. For the Veda Jnana to be protected. Again, that's another part of history and interesting thing to remember and understand how that intellectual war or intellectual Renaissance, if you want to use modern word, took place. Anyways, now what will he do? उद्धृत्य मूर्ति अथवा लिंग गंगाया प्रस्थापयिष्यति वै प्रभोः सूर्यालोकेन जगतो यंधकार विनाशने यथावस्थित भानं तु पदार्थानां यथा भवेत् नाशश्च विपरीताख्या भावनाया यथा भवेत् सर्व संशय नाशश्च भगवत् पूज्य पादभृत् शंकरोऽपि तथैवैह लोकानुग्रह कांक्षया वेदार्थ विषया ज्ञानम भ्रांति संशय कारणम निश्शेषं नाशयित्वा सौ साधयित्वा द्वयं परम अद्वय ब्रह्म विद्यांच स्थापयेदवनीतले अन्यथा वर्णयेद्यस्तु वेदार्थम समूढ़धीः. What will he do? उद्धृत्य मूर्ति अथवा लिंगम गंगायाः. He will take out that linga, murti, idol from Ganga. Sthapayishyati vai prabho. Badarikashrama, the idol that has been was found, that was brought out from Ganga. Acharya has established that in Badarikashrama, Badrinath. After that, what will happen? Just as when the sun rises, Surya Lokena, Aloka, light, Surya Loka, in the light of sun, Jagataha hi andhakara vinashne. The darkness which has engulfed this entire creation is removed, gets destroyed. Yatha avasthita bhanam tu padarthanam yatha bhavet. The objects are known as they are. At night, in dim light, objects were seen anyatha. We had different delusions, we had confusions. They were seen anyatha. As in sunlight, the objects are known exactly the way they are, in the same way. When Adi Shankaracharya ji will re-establish, re-explain the Vedanta, what will happen is, Viparitakhya bhavanayaha yatha nashasya yatha bhavet. He will teach in this way by which Viparita bhavana will get destroyed. Viparita bhavana, wrong notions, they will get destroyed. Sarva samshaya nashascha, all doubts will be removed. And why will he explain? Just out of lokanugraha kanksha, just for the well-being of this entire world. Not for some personal profitable gains, but out of compassion he is going to teach. Vedartha Vishaya Jnanam. Ajnana, ignorance about the topic of Vedanta, Veda, Brahman, Bhranti Samshaya Karanam. Whatever are the causes for Bhranti, delusion, Samshaya, doubts, etc. Nishesham Nashitvaso, removing them entirely from its root. Sadhayitva Advayam Param, Advayam Param Sadhayitva. Having gained Advaya, that non-dual nature of Brahman, he will make us again. It is interesting, and I remember I have heard this statement, not just read here, but from 2-3 different acharyas whom I have listened to. They have said that if you really listen to or read Shankara Bhashya and sincerely follow it, there is no way that you will not know it. That Bhashya, it will make you Brahman. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be sincere with that, with it. It is just like walking. If we are just to understand or correlate, it's like standing on escalator. The only thing that you have to do is we have to be careful on stepping on that first step. Then you don't have to do anything. It will just carry you along with it. But during that, don't have doubts. whether will I reach it or not, will this escalator stop in between, should I jump down, or don't just turn around and start walking down. If you turn around and start walking down, you will be where you are. Don't do that. Advayam sadhayitva advayam param. He will make you. He will make sure that everybody knows Brahman. Advaya Brahma Vidyam cha sthapaye davanitale. He will re-establish what really Vedas are trying to say. That is the Advaya Brahma. And anyatha varnayed yastu vedartham samutu mudhadi. And if anybody is trying to explain this Vedanta in any different way, he is mudhadhi. He is a delusional person. He is, if you want to use a straight word, he is an idiot. Don't listen to him. Now, this is a strong word and this is a strong language, but this is coming out of that sheer love for whatever that has been listened, whatever that has been understood, and the truth. It is like, how do you not know? Like the teacher knows the student in front of him is not able to understand, but he is frustrated after having explained in so many different ways. In what way should I teach you by which you will understand? That's how this dialogue is. That's how this explanation is. Now, Mahetihase Shivarahasya Navamanshe cha Shankara-matasya Upanishadatvam Uchyate. Now, whatever that has been taught by Adi Shankaracharya ji is whatever has been expected, or the exact meaning of Upanishad. It's not out of his own whim. It's not his own creation, something out of his own mind. There is very beautiful statement which is attributed to Adi Shankaracharya ji. Nayam mama prajnavadaha. Mama prajnavadaha nayam. This is, I am not saying this out of my own intellect. Upanishadam. This is what Upanishads are trying to say. What is it? So now that reference is being given. Shive madavsha sambhutaha shankara shankarottamaha chaturbhis sashishya kalau avatarishyati tasmai chopanishad vidya maya datta maheshwari bhumau pashana shandhanam khandanam sakarishyati ityadina. He will be born, he will roam around with his 4 students, and the Upanishad Vidya which was taught to him by me, he will go around teaching that Upanishad Vidya, by which those who are delusional, their ignorance will get destroyed like breaking stones. Itihasa Purananam च वेदार्थोपबृंहयेत् एव उपयोग इति अभियुक्तवचनम्. Now, Itihasa, Purana, all these are necessary to understand Vedanta. Why? Bibhet-kalpa shrutad-vedo mamayam pratarishyati itihasa puranabhyam vedam samupabruhayet. Now, this has been accepted fact and truth, and you have to stick to it. How much ever intellectual you may be, one thing you have to understand, and not just in this context, but everywhere, that when you have any text or any set of statements in front of you, never ever try to make the meaning of those statements out of your own knowledge and ideas. Why? Because the person who has written those, say, notes or statements or that entire paragraph has certain background and certain understanding in his mind. Unless we have understood what that background is it is useless and futile to make the meaning of those statements. Imagine I'll give you a practical example. If I am using the word wrong, Magna Carta, not Magna Carta, Rosetta Stone, sorry. The Rosetta Stone was the stone slab which was found during excavation, because of which it was possible to decipher the hieroglyphics. Rosetta Stone had hieroglyphics, and there was I think Greek translation available. Now, because that was available, the hieroglyphics, the Egyptian script, could be deciphered and could be read. Now imagine if we had these basic ideas, concepts about Egyptian philosophy or Egyptian history from their own people, and we try to decipher based on that and correlating out of our own whims and fancies. Okay, this symbol has been repeated so many number of times. In English, this letter comes more. Based on that probability, this symbol means this letter from English. Will it be appropriate? The method which has been used is accurate. There is very, if we remember this Sherlock Holmes story, I don't exactly remember the name of that story, but red-headed people, all they used to have that red-headed people. Okay, the story goes in a totally different way, but they had this secret script, and that was analyzed and deciphered by Mr. Sherlock Holmes based on which alphabet from English language is repeated more, which comes more, number of letters in that particular word, etc. If same logic is applied, now this logic is true if the script pertains to English language. But if that same logic is applied here, what will happen? You will end up in totally different wrong conclusion. You will not make any sense at all. In the same way, if we are to understand what Vedas are trying to say, because Vedas, it is concise. It has been, in a way, like in short, all the explanation has been given. If it is to be understood, if you are studying Vedanta or Vedas, it is told initially that you have to understand Veda from the standpoint of Itihasa and Purana. Those will be your reference framework. If you have any doubt, how should we understand this particular statement? Look at them. Search in those. So Itihasa, Purana. And the statement goes like this: Bibhet kalpashrutad vedo mamayam pratarishyati. Vedas are afraid of person who is half learned, who does not take me seriously. They are afraid. Why? He will destroy me. How? By not making the sense of what I'm trying to say, or landing in totally different wrong conclusion. Not only will he destroy himself, but he will destroy others also. He will make others also follow the wrong path. So what should he do? Itihasa Purana Bhyam Vedam Samapabruhnayet. Veda should be understood based on or by the reasoning or explanations given in Itihasa, that is Ramayana and Mahabharata, and Purana, all our 18 Puranas and Upapuranas, etc. Advaitam eva pramanam iti Valmikerapyabhiprayah. Valmiki Maharshi also has said that Advaita alone is real. Advaita is pramana. Advaita is the truth. Where Valmiki Maharshi has composed another great text, that is Yoga Vasishtha. In Yoga Vasishtha, it is teaching given by Vasishtha Mahamuni to Rama. So the story goes as Rama, he was in Ayodhya during the time period when he was in Ayodhya. Suddenly Rama had Vairagya and he just sat in his room. He never came out. Now everybody was afraid. Everybody thought something is wrong with him. And the story continues, and then Vasishtha Mahamuni, he came, he gave teaching. Of course, this was just a ruse to make other people know what the reality is, what the truth is, so that everyone will understand. He was just being a reason. Now, Rama, he being Brahma himself, why would he need teaching? But for the sake of others, the dialogue took place. Anyways, that is being referred here. श्री वाल्मीकिरादिक विराडखिलार्थदर्शी महर्षि उत्तर रामायणे वसिष्ठाख्ये ग्रंथे सर्वोपनिषद सूत्रभूत मांडुक्यार्थार्थ विष्करण प्रधाने श्री राम वसिष्ठ संवाद रूपेणाभिव्यक्त वार्तिकात्मके उपक्रमादि षड्विध तात्पर्य लिंगैः दृष्टांत सहस्रैः इतिहास शतैश्च अद्वैतमेव प्रमाणम इति निरूपयति. Valmiki Maharshi, he composed in the form of a dialogue between Vasishtha Mahamuni and Rama, and in that dialogue he has explained whatever that is expected or whatever the teaching of Mandukya Upanishad is in detail, with references from Upanishads, from Itihasa, from Purana, and which falls in the analysis of Shadvidha Tatparya Nirnaya. What is Shadvidha Tatparya Nirnaya? We had seen earlier. Upakramopasamharau abhyaso purvataphalam arthavadopapattishya lingam tatparya nirnaya. Tatparya Nirnaya. The conclusion. How can you say that this alone is the truth? This alone is the teaching. For that, there is an analysis. Take the Upakrama and Upasamhara, the beginning and the end. They should be same and one. It should not be that Ramayana started with the birth of Rama and ended with Ravana being alive. No. Ramayana should end with the death of Ravana, Rama coming back, etc. You should not start with Ramayana and end up in Mahabharata or Bhagavatam. No. Upakrama and Upasamhara. It should be appropriate. In particular framework, they should be same. Abhyasa. What has been repeated and told again and again. Because in teaching, whatever the main topic is repeated again and again and again. Apurvata, what is the unique and something extraordinary. Unique is the better word. What is the apurvata? Something which is unheard of. That which we have not known, that which we did not know earlier. Arthavada, exaggeration. Sometimes in teaching, exaggeration is necessary to put forth or put across the point. And upapatti, the reasoning. Based on all these, that thing which corroborates and which can be related to all these 6 points is the conclusion of that particular text. And in such a way, if you analyze that text, the conclusion is the Advaita. तत्रापि अद्वैतमत सारभूत दृष्टिसृष्टिवादैक जीववादैक सत्तावादानेव पुनः पुनः अत्यादरेण अनेकेतिहासैः सम्यक् प्रतिपादयति च. By दृष्टिसृष्टिवाद etc. This topic is going to come later, so I am not going to deal with this particular word now. Based with drishthisrishtivada etc. Advaita Mata has been established, explained with many references from Itihasa Purana. Itham व्यासवाल्मीक्याद्यभिप्रायेणोपनिषद भगवद गीता ब्रह्मसूत्रात्मक प्रस्थानत्रयस्य श्रीमद् शंकर भगवत्पाद प्रणीत भाष्यमेव यथार्थ व्याख्यानम इति सिद्ध्यति. By writing bhashya on Prasthanatraya, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra, Adi Shankaracharya ji has explained the Advaita, which was explained by Vyasa Valmiki Maharshi. He has not transgressed or crossed the line anywhere. Itham Sarvajna Vyasa Valmikyadi Vachana Virodhad Bhedavadaha Apramanikah. Now if you say that Advaita is apramanika, baseless, then let me tell you, any statement which goes against these all-knowing Vyasa and Valmiki, that is apramanika, that is baseless. Bhedavadaha yukti viruddhaha iti cha Shri Harsha Mishraihi Khandana Granthe Nirupitam. Now you talk about reasoning, the logic, etc. so much. Let me tell you, based on logic, Shri Harsha Mishra in his Khandana Khandakadya text, the whole language is Nayayika, Nyaya language. Based on logic, he has proven how Bheda is Mithya, how Bheda is not possible. Bheda Dikkaradi Grantheshvapi Bhedavadasya Ayuktatvam Pradarshitam. In all those, yes, no. Bhedavada apramanika. Bheda is apramanika has been explained. One second. Itham अनादिसिद्ध श्रुति तात्पर्य विषयी भूतत्वात् स्मृति पुराणेतिहासैः उपबृंहितत्वात् नारायणादि सद्गुरु संप्रदायगतत्वाच्च शांकरमतम् अद्वैतमेव साधु सर्वैः श्रेयोर्थभिः आदरणीयञ्च. In this way, Shruti, Vedas, which are anadi siddha, eternal, beginningless, which have been there from time immemorial, which has been corroborated, which has been justified or not justified. You cannot justify whatever that has been told in Vedas, but the teaching which has been justified by Itihasa and Purana, which goes along with the explanations of Itihasa and Purana, whatever the teaching which started from Narayana. Two lineages are given in Advaita Sampradaya. One from Bhagwan Shri Vishnu himself and another from Bhagwan Shankara himself. Shankaram Shankara. The one starts with Vishnu, Bhagwan Shri Vishnu ji, he gave it to Brahma, then Brahma ji gave it to Sanakadika Mahamuni, and it Vyasa, from there Shuka, from Gaudapada, all that lineage comes. So because the teaching has started from Ishvara himself, it is real, it is pramana. Therefore, if you really desire Shreya, moksha, then you should have other, you should have that reverence for this teaching. After having, in a way, if we just want to use this term, having bombarded the student with this thrashing, teacher continues. भेदवाद तिरस्कारः जैनादिमतवद वेदबाह्यतया प्राचीन महर्षिवचन विरोधाच्च भेदवादः न प्रमाणम्. Jaina, Bauddha Mata, they do not accept Veda. So they are Veda Bahya. And because they are Veda Bahya, they are against whatever that has been taught by Prachina Maharshi, our Rishi Muni, etc. This therefore, Veda is not Pramana. Duality is not real. If you say those who have accepted Vedas, आस्तिक विषय भेदवाद खंडन महर्षि वचन विरोधाच्च भेदवादः न प्रमाणम. Whatever the talk of duality is not pramana. Why? Because it goes against the teaching of Shruti, Upanishads. आस्तिक विषये भेदवाद खंडन युक्तीनां प्रदर्शनम नापेक्षितम इति कृत्वा सभेदवादः श्रुतिवचन विरुद्ध इत्येव प्रदर्श्यते. Now, because the 6 schools of thought, other 5 schools of thought which have accepted Vedas, but accept duality, for them, you don't have to give logical reasoning. Why? They have accepted Veda. So they accept all the statements that we have accept. If somebody does not accept, again, it is a very beautiful point to understand and remember, which is applicable in all walks of life. When you are discussing or when you are arguing about something, you must understand or you have to know what are the means of knowledge which has been accepted by both, or what is taken as pramana, a standard proof by both. If it is same for both, then you have to correlate to, or you have to stick to that particular text or that particular thing, whatever it may be. But if you both come from different walks of life and accept 2 different things, and you are trying to discuss on something else, then there logic has priority. You cannot say because it is said in whatever I believe in, it is true. No, because what he believes in is different. Whatever has been accepted, whatever as pramana by him is different. Then you have to keep those aside, and from your understanding of your own learning, from his understanding, from his own learning, you both have to put forth logic and then argue. Otherwise, logic is not useful in reaching the truth. Logic alone is not going to help. But because all these other 5 darshanas, that is Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga, Sankhya and Purvamimamsa, and other Vedanta darshanas who have accepted duality, for them, if you tell them the meaning of Shruti, they have to accept. Why? Because they have accepted Vedas as means of knowledge. If this is the case, then let me tell you Shruti, Vedic statements which talk about duality being the reason of fear and this entire samsara. Dvaita is against Shruti. Dvaita is against Vedanta statement or Vedas. How so? Let's see Upanishads. Kathopanishadi Bhedavasana Bhayahetuhu Sarva Dukkha Nidanam Tataha Sa Vasana Duri Kartavya Iti Mrityuna Nachiketaha Upadishtaha. Nachiketa was taught by Mrityu, Yamaraja. What was he taught? In Kathopanishad, Yamaraja taught Nachiketa that Bhedavasana, the idea of duality, sticking to duality is the reason for fear, cause of all bondage and sorrows. Therefore, it should be removed, it should be destroyed. Tasmat Bhedavasana Sarvatmana Manasaha Nirmulan Unmathaniya. Nirmulam Unmathaniya. From its root, it should be plucked out and removed, destroyed. Don't keep even a smallest thing behind, because for many plants, even a little bit of part is left out, new will come up. This is particularly true for grass. Anyway, Satatam Advaita Nishtha Abhyasaniya Shreyorthina. Always one should stick to Advaita. Don't even give a chance for duality to crop up in your mind if you really want to gain moksha. Tatha hi shrutayaha. And accordingly are the shrutis. Mrutyosya mrutyumapnoti ya iha naneva pashyati. In Kathopanishad and Brihadaranyaka. He goes from death to death, the one who sees duality and differences here. Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. If you see something different from you, it will be cause of fear. Anyaha asau anyaha aham asmi iti nasaveda yatha pashure Vasudevanam. The one who sees himself different from Ishvara Brahman, he is like a Pashu for Devata. A very beautiful explanation is there for this. We will see that explanation next time. Right now, we will just see that this part. Udaramantaram kurute athatasya bhayam bhavati. The one who sees even a little bit of differences in this entire creation, athatasya bhayam bhavati. He will have fear. Tasam cha ayam arthaha. This is the meaning of all these statements. Yaha iha paramatmani pratyagabhinne trividha paricheda trividha bheda shunye nanev iva shabdad avidyamanameva bhedam pashyati samritva amritva punaha punaha jayate. Anyone who sees even a little bit of doubt as though, iva, as in which is not there, the difference, the duality which is not there. If anybody sees that duality in Paramatma, Brahman, which is not different from me, he will die and will be born again and again. How is that Brahman? Trividha bheda shunyam, trividha paricheda shunya. Without three types of limitation, three types of differences. Trividha paricheda, desha, kala, vastu. Paricheda. Trividha bheda, jagat, jiva, ishvara. Dvaitabhinivishtasya sada bhayameva. Anyone who is rooted in duality, he will always have fear. Chinmatra swarup swaswarupat prithakneyattvena dheyatvena va vastvantaram astiti manvanaha pashuprayaha. He is like a pashu. He is like an animal for devatas who thinks that there is something different from his own true nature, that is Chinmatra Swarupa Brahman. Anumatramapi bhedam pashyataha mayad mahad bhayam bhavati. Anumatram. Even a little bit of differences, if you see, or if you are even smallest idea of differences, you will have fear. Dukkha nidana bhutaha bhedavadaha shreyorthinaha sarvatha vismartavyah. This dukkha nidana bhuta, this bhedavada, idea of duality, which is the cause of sorrow, should be vismartavya, should removed or should be forgotten, or one should forget if he is really interested in knowing Brahman. Dvaita vachanam yavad anusmaryate tavad advaita sakshatkaraha nodiyat iti adrushtinamakam shishyam gururupadidesha. As long as you remember duality, so long you will never know what Advaita is. Advaita Sakshatkara will not take place and you will not gain moksha. In this way, Guru taught Shishya what Advaita is. In this way, for Adrushti, the explanation was given. Now, the real teaching starts. Here, okay, let me just first explain the very beautiful meaning of Anya so Anya Hamasni. So the basic idea and the concept is all these devatas which are there, they thrive upon the offerings which are given by us. Now the picture has been flipped. Actually, devatas are making use of us. Devatas are making use of us human beings for their own survival. In yajna, in havana, bashu, or an animal is sacrificed. Now the meaning of sacrifice here is dana. There was never a real killing of an animal. It was again Vedabhaya. The meaning, the understanding is totally again different thing and topic of discussion, which is not the topic here. But it is being sacrificed. It is being given away. It is being now in the same way. Humans are being used by devatas in a way for their own survival. See how very beautifully the picture has been described. And why is it so? Are they doing forcefully? No. They just have given us the idea of duality. Because we believe in duality, we go on performing sacrifices, yajna, and because of which we expect that we will go in Swarga. But throughout this process, we are exhausting ourselves for gaining something which is impermanent. Let me give you a further explanation. Indriyas are not there somewhere in sky or heaven. Now, this idea has so much got ingrained in our brains. We never really had this idea that Ishvara, God, is somewhere higher above. Ruddesha Arjuna Tishtati, he is in everybody's heart. For the sake of puja, etc., I invoke him in front of me in a form of an idol. Anyways, so all these devatas, they are adhishthatri devata. They are the abiding deities in all our indriyas. They are present in this whole body. And how do they survive? They survive by making us experience Vishaya, sense objects. When we experience sense objects, the abiding indriyas, they are satiated. But do they die? No. Who dies, who gets exhausted is we, Jiva. So, Pashure Vasudeva. Why did this happen? Because we saw Vishayas different from me because of duality. So duality is the reason of the main reason for sorrow. How did this duality come about? Because of ignorance, because the idea or bhranti, delusion that there is something else. Okay. Guruji, but I know, I understood. All this has to be real, but it is still difficult for me to understand. And this is what the real dilemma of that student is. He has accepted all these to be pramana, means of knowledge, yet it is difficult for him to believe in their teachings. This is pramana sambhavana. I have accepted them, but how can this be true? For which you have to listen to it again and again, and in form of a story, the topic is now going to be explained. A very beautiful explanation, very beautiful story. There are couple of stories actually. The first story is of Bharchu, Amatya, a minister in a king's court. The story of him, what happens to him, how he gains vairagya, all that is going to be explained. And the teaching or vairagya, what he explains, I'm not going to go word by word in detail because this is a complete whole long explanation. I'm really sorry that I'm not going to go word by word. And the another reason is it is so intense that it should be read by a person himself and should be known. Certain topics or vairagya, the explanation, one should experience himself, or actually we all are experiencing the sorrows which have been explained here. The only thing is somebody has to point it out. It's like we have area where there is pain. We are not aware of it. But doctor, he puts his finger there and we suddenly feel that pain. And this is particularly true if you are undergoing panchakarma. The Ayurvedic doctor, they exactly know, they exactly understand what the problem with your body is. He will just put two fingers somewhere on your body and he will just press inside, and then you will feel enormous pain, and then he will say this particular is the reason this organ is not functioning properly, etc. It's like that. So such is going to be the teaching, but that we will see next time. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.